Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix with another episode of This Week in Kyrix. This is for the week of Wednesday, February 7th, 2018. It is being done on Thursday, but for a reason this time. This wasn't, oh, I'm lazy, oh, I forgot. No, this was fully intentional, because something happened Wednesday morning that made me think, no, I've got to put this off until Thursday to tell this story. And that thing was... okay, let me, I'm nocturnal. This is a pretty well-known fact about me. I'm up all night and sleep during the day. It's just how I do. It's just the way I function. Nothing wrong with it. It's me. You know what I mean? Let me just take a look at the facilities here. Excavate. Satellite uplink. Yes. Yep, not that, no. And I don't have enough for another one. Okay. Now. So, generally I go to bed at around between 4 and 7 in the morning. It varies. It really does. So, there's my pistol. There's my rifle. That's really nice. Well, let's do xenobiology next.
I realize our troops have to put their own survival first, but...
So, what occurred is, I went to bed at my usual. Not a big deal. Around, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning, I get woke up by a phone call. I wake up, look at the caller ID on my phone, don't recognize the number. I'm like, oh, maybe it's the orthopedic trying to get bills from me that I told them I can't pay. That's a call. That's a call that's happened so much I've literally blocked the fucking number because I just can't deal with that bullshit. They call and I say, okay, I can't pay this right now. Unless my financial system changes, I will never be able to pay this. And they're like, okay, we'll call you back another time. Another time turned into like 3 days later. And I went off on them too. I'm like, look, I told you last time, nothing has changed. I can't do this. Don't call me. Okay, we'll call back. No, don't fucking call back. There's no reason to. And then they called a third time, and I had no patience for that shit, especially since I interrupted the guy like 3 times as he's trying to do his little spiel. And I told him, point blank, we are, there's nothing coming of this shit, And he kept trying to say, okay, when would you like to schedule the next call? I'm like, don't. So, it's just kind of a thing. I just basically told him to fuck off. So, but I'm like, you know what? I am a guy who answers every call, period. Even though I get a lot of robocalls and shit. At least on my main phone. I don't answer shit on the free phone because, for one thing, the free phone doesn't work half the time. And 2, nobody has my number that's not in that phone book. So if a number comes up that I don't recognize, they're probably trying to get a hold of the person who had that phone number last. And that's no business of mine. But I call them and I'm like, hello? Because I just woke up. I'm not being apathetic. And I get a call basically saying, hi, we're looking for, Kyrix's name here. This is Walmart. I'm like, oh, okay. Hello, that's me. I'm Kyrix. You put in an application, etc. Are you interested in coming in for an interview, basically to work the truck, meaning unloading? So I'm like, yeah, I'm very interested. And I'm like, okay, can you come in tomorrow, Thursday, at 1:15 p.m.? So naturally the answer to that was, yes, I can.
Commander, we have multiple reports of new abductions in progress.
Okay,
the
what do we
locations
got
are marked on the hologlobe.
None of these are good for me. So we're going to go to Argentina in a minute. But first, I'm going to try and build some goodies. How much are satellites again? That's not a horrible cost. Okay, you know what? We're not going to bother with any of that shit right now. How many is this? 5? No. 4. Sure, we'll do 4 satellites.
What little I've seen of their technology,
And anyway,
they're intent on conquering Earth.
they tell me, okay, is it gonna, yep, right before the council report. Awesome. So I decide I'm gonna try my best to go above and beyond with this bullshit. Not bullshit. You know what I fucking mean. Alright, we got Big Mama, we got Madman, we got Missionary, and we got this guy. The reason I'm looking is because playing this made me want to play one on my own file, and I have a different crew, obviously. Anyway, I tell them, you know, I'll come in before 1:15. And they stress that I need to be there on time, which I knew, but I'm not going to get snarky with them, you know.
We're moving into Argentina next.
I'm not going to, oh, well, I was going to show up at 3, but since I got to be on time. No, and I decide, okay, this is one of the most important things that's happened to me in fucking 6 months. I better save this, because no one watches this, but I don't want to leave people... If someone does watch it, I want them to go, oh my god, did Kyrix make it in time? So I put it off until Thursday. So I come in, you know, Thursday morning, really. I decide I will stay up no later than 4 a.m. And I will, I gotta get back into the habit of having all the time in the world to do these missions. Because that's a thing I have in, what's it called? In XCOM 2. That's not a thing I have, rather. In XCOM 2, most of my missions are timed, or at least partly timed, where it's like, oh, I need to get this far by this point, or bullshit happens, you know?
Got it covered.
So...
Copy that.
But anyway, I stayed up for a while playing XCOM, because, you know, I can. And when you can, you do. Alright, we're just going to Overwatch since they can't see us either. One thing this game does that I don't like is everybody overwatches the same person at the same time. There's a really beautiful system in XCOM 2 where, for a situation like this, guy number 1 would take a shot. And if he failed, guy number 2 would take a shot. Kind of like this. And if he failed, guy number 3 would take a shot. Or if guy number 1 killed him, guy number 2 would overwatch the other person. Yeah, that was complete garbage.
They're trying to flank us.
They're doing a pretty good job of it. They're just not doing a good job of capitalizing on it. Fucking knew that was coming. Oh well. Doesn't much matter, really. No, I'm not going to stay in the poison cloud, never mind. But anyway, I played XCOM 2 for till about 3 in the morning, and I started getting sleepy. I'm like, okay, we're just going to go to bed. And I managed to get to sleep until about, 4 p.m. Or 4 a.m., sorry. And then couldn't get back to sleep because that's how my fucking body works. It hates me.
Eyes on target.
God damn it. So unused to the old school sectoids. They're not they're not like this in the new XCOM. Let's just leave it at that. They're considerably more dangerous. But anyway, I managed to, I go back to sleep basically for, let's call it an indeterminate amount of time.
Affirmative. Covering now.
And I get up basically in time to... I basically slept until about 10. Between actually sleeping properly and just napping again and shit like that. I got a moderate amount of sleep. Oh, the sectoids are doing shit over there, okay. So I decide, well, I decided the night before that I'm gonna set shit up so that I leave the house at noon, basically, at 12:15, giving myself an hour to get to my interview. As you might imagine, this is very much in my favor. You know, it, oh, you're still poisoned, okay. So yeah, I get there roundabouts 12:30, you know. I talk to the guy, the greeter, and because that's what I was told to do. He directs me over to these seats where I can just, you know, wait until it's my turn. And
Going in for the kill.
going in dry.
Time to motor.
And sorry, I keep, to use Gabe and Yahtzee's term, waffling. Nope, that is incorrect. We want this gun. This gun is much better for my purposes.
Will do.
Alright, missionary, do your thing. You got a coin flip? Yup, you got him. Cool. Okay, so I go in there. You know, I'm early. I'm wonderfully early. It's kind of cool. And the manager whose job it is to interview me basically sees me. He's like, "Oh, are you this person?" I'm like, "No, I'm Kyrix." You know. And for those not in on it, I'm substituting that for my actual name, obviously.
I'm pinned down here.
And he's like, "Okay, let me go back and check." Hold on, that is the alarm to feed the pets, which I have already done. So anyway, I go back, naturally, because that's what you do when you're at a job interview. You go back and you talk to the people who want to give you money in exchange for labor. Those wonderful people. And he comes back out and he's like, "Okay, you can come in early because the guy I was waiting for isn't here yet." You know, I'm like, okay, I'm totally fine with that. Because, you know, why wouldn't I fucking be? And I think I missed him entirely. I did. But, flip side, he is now exposed. So that's a thing. So I go back there, and I think the interview went rather well, all things considered. Alright, missionary, take him out. Just like that.
He's down.
Alright, are there more than 4? There are more than 4. That was unexpected. So we're going to take a couple turns here to just get ready. And basically, I was supposed to go in for my interview at 1:15. I was out of Walmart by 1:05, so I kind of went above there, you know, above and beyond the call of the interview. You know, it just, it was what it was. So, Pokemon, I actually kind of sucked this week. I only really got 1 win. And I'm not going to be too much better off next week as far as new shit. Because, quite frankly, I have to spend most of this week getting Silvalis. The Silvalis that I gathered up ages ago, because they expire in a couple days, really. That's really how that is. So, I went and borrowed Anubis's 3DS, which was actually a bit of a problem, and I'll get into why on the next part of this, which is, alright, I have, hold on. Sorry, I keep, okay. So I've got to get all those Silvally, like I said. That's going to take up quite a bit of the next couple days. I have until the 12th It is currently the 8th. My future is mapped out for the next couple weeks, is what I'm saying, or next couple days. But there will be no more Heroclix updates from here on out. And this is a story in and of itself. I don't know how much I've talked about it, but for the better part of, let's say, 2 or 3 years, I have been on the fence, getting to the point where I'm like, I'm just done with clicks. For a myriad of reasons. And some of the reasons I didn't even realize were reasons until this happened. But Heroclix, for the better part of like half a decade, was on Tuesdays. And when I went to the library, Pokemon started being on Tuesdays. So that was just kind of a thing. You know, Pokemon just happens on Tuesdays. And I liked Pokemon because, you know, it gave me an excuse to play these games that I've been playing for the better part of a decade or more. It was good competition. It was free. Nobody fucking bullied or nagged me there, because the judge was really bad about that. He had so many friends with low self-esteem that the only way to motivate them was to basically treat them like shit. And basically tell them how garbage they were as people, and what worthless assholes they were, and all this shit. And that would motivate them to become better so that you would stop saying such horrible things about them. That shit doesn't work on me. I have too high an opinion of myself to be taken down by someone's opinion like that. And I've told him this point blank, and he doesn't get it. And when he treats me like shit like that, all that does is start a fight. And it causes me, reflexively, I have no control over this, to just ignore and go contrary to whatever he said. You know? But, and that never happened at Pokemon. I am actually treated as being fairly awesome at Pokemon because I'm such a good battler.
Copy that.
So that's a nice morale boost for me.
This is a disturbing sight, to say the least. It's hard to differentiate where the organic material ends and the machine begins.
It's not going to win any beauty contests, that's for sure.
So, anyway, Heroclix has been suffering, in large part, though he doesn't realize this, to his, let's call it, leadership. You know, his leadership has been fucking up the group. Because he shows up fucking late as shit every week. Without fail, every goddamn week, late as shit. Like, we originally started at 2:30. You know, there was never a conscious decision to make us go at, let's say, you know, like, oh, we're gonna start at 5:30. It's just, he started showing up at 3 o'clock, you know, like, oh, we start at 2:30. Well, the judge isn't here until 3 o'clock. Okay, I guess we're starting at 3 o'clock from now on. Well, he's not here until 4 now, so we start at 4. You know, that was something he would fuck up frequently. He would order more product than we were able to sell. Like, this happened recently at like 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, something came up where the guy who basically ran the store during our tournaments, because they have several people on staff, but this is the guy who works our day, said, hey, Judge, we have 5 cases of X-Men ordered. That is 50 boosters. Or no, I'm sorry, that is 100 boosters.
Operational objectives completed.
Yes, 100 boosters. Because a case is 2 bricks, a brick is 10 boosters. Come on in, Rio. Come on. And oh, you want out, Willow? Okay, go on out. Alright. Cats wanted to swap. Rio wanted in, Willow wanted out. No skin off my ass. Anyway, without consulting anyone, without double-checking to see who was buying X-Men and who wasn't, the judge said, make it 6. Put a fucking another case on top of that. Another 20 fucking boosters when we had a wall of shit we hadn't sold. From like a year ago. You know? And this wouldn't be so bad, except he treated us like shit for not being able to afford shit we didn't want in the first place. Like, if I had $1 for every single time that this guy has yelled at me for not having money, oh, okay, to buy boosters that I never ordered in the first place. Well, we gotta sell shit for the store. I'm like, dude, if you wouldn't quit doing this, the store would be just fine, you know? But anyway, he, again, completely treats you like shit about it. Like, oh, if you weren't so worthless, you'd have money, you'd have a job. I'm like, dude, I've tried to get a job. No one would fucking give me an interview. This is, in 3 or 4 years of trying to get interviews, this is the third one I've had. Not in recent memory. Since I started job hunting, this is my third fucking interview. So, I was stunned that they called me back at all. Because it just wasn't something I was prepared for at all. But anyway, he moves the game to Tuesday. And this was the excuse I finally needed to say, I'm done. You know? And I told him. I told everyone in the chat, I'm like, okay, if it's Tuesdays, I'm not playing anymore. I'm done. You know? And I want you guys to know, got nothing against you. It's separate ways time, you know. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And so on. You know? No big deal. Nice, reasonable, etc. And he proceeds to take this as though I fucking broke up with him. With such bullshit as, you're not quitting Heroclix, you're quitting your friends, you're turning your back on all your friends, etc. And I'm like, no, I'm quitting Heroclix. Because, for one thing, I can't fucking afford it. I've told him for years, I cannot afford this shit. Even if I had a job, I could not afford this shit. And what happened is... And I told him several reasons, but he took the stupid reasons. Because I had my 3 main reasons that I'm quitting, and a bunch of reasons that support those reasons. The supporting reasons were I'd rather play Pokemon. Like, it's closer, it takes less time out of my day, no one treats me like shit there, it's fun, and it forces me to innovate a lot. You know? Plus, there's the fact that there's no new sets of Pokemon coming out, not until there's a whole other game, and I have everything so I can make whatever combinations I like. And the fact that it's a fucking 45-minute, 8-mile goddamn ride for me. You know? And I don't want to do that. Especially if I'm going to get fucking trash-talked by him when I get up there for not having any fucking money. And keep in mind, when I pay my bills on the 3rd of the month, which is the day I get fucking paid, I don't have money. I'm lucky to have $20 a month. Lucky to have $20. That's not a lot of goddamn money. And his response is, dude, just save $25 to $35 every month. I'm like, there's nothing to save that much from. I don't have it. I never have that money. It's not that I have it and I decide, oh, I'm going to buy a comic book or some shit. No, it's not there to begin with. So where am I going to save it from? You know, how am I going to save it? And he doesn't understand. Because I keep saying, dude, you don't understand what broke means. Like, I used to be broke. I'm like, no. It doesn't matter. It was so long ago you've forgotten what it means to be fucking broke. To not have money. To have no control over the money you have. And at one point, this is the guy... And someone told me, like, oh, do this. This is reasonable. I'm like, okay, dude. This is the guy who told me that I should stop paying my cats and dogs' medical bills so that I have money for Heroclix. Reason isn't a factor in this conversation at all. It just isn't. But anyway, I told him all this. Well, not all that, but I mean, I told him my reasons. And he's like, well, you're lazy. You need the exercise anyway. I'm like, dude, do you have any idea how much exercise I get anyway? And my personal favorite, oh, well, I guess you can quit playing Heroclix and just go be a creeper at the library playing Pokemon. I'm like, okay, for one thing, Heroclix is a fucking kid's game too. Okay? Get that through your fucking head. It's ages 8 and up. It's designed to be played by children. The fact that it has a huge adult fan base doesn't mean it's not a fucking kid's game. And, you know, and it doesn't... It doesn't... I don't have to put up with the bullshit in Pokemon that I do in Heroclix. And he keeps telling me, like, oh, you're turning your back on your friends, you're turning your back on your friends, and I finally snapped and said, dude, my friends quit playing a fucking year ago. You know? And it's true. That's one of the things that I didn't realize at the time, but that's one of my reasons for quitting. Is the fact that all my friends don't play anymore. They just don't. Mostly because they've moved, but they've moved... and they're nowhere near it anymore, you know? Skinner used to play. Skinner used to play Clix with me. He moved up to fucking Tennessee or Kentucky. I think it's Tennessee. So, obviously, he doesn't play anymore. You know, that's just a fucking thing. Our old Heroclix driver, who I used to go to Tampa with every fucking week, she moved and quit playing. The judge's friend, who was kind of a snarky piece of shit, quit. His was partly a scheduling thing and partly a money thing. You know? Even that guy who once stole my fucking video games and I eventually forgave, he fucking quit playing. We don't know where the hell he is. I actually told Anubis it's entirely possible that he fucking left the state again and didn't tell anybody like he did that one time. Or maybe he just got multiple jobs, because I'd heard that too. But either way, all my gaming friends, it's just the judge and Anubis. And that's not even accurate, because Anubis gets his ride from the judge when the judge can be bothered to fucking pick him up. And half the time he doesn't even bother. He just like, no, I don't have the time for that. And I'm like, well, if you got up on time and you left the house at a reasonable hour like every other fucking person does, you would have the time to pick him up. You know? But can't be bothered. So Anubis doesn't play half the time, and this pisses me off. Not what he does, but what the judge does. Anubis has been dropping clicks a lot to go do BMX, and he's dumping $70 a month in that shit. And I asked him, how much is the judge riding your ass over that? And he's like, not at all. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? If the judge finds out that I buy a video game, I get the comment of, well, why didn't you spend that money on clicks? And that fucking infuriates me that I'm the only one who catches crap for that shit when he's as broke as I am. But, so yeah, all my friends leaving, that's one reason. Another reason, and this is one that everybody fucking knows, is the company, NECA, is putting out too much goddamn product. Far too much. There's just too much going on. There were 16 sets released last year. I almost said last month. That wouldn't be very far from the truth, but no. 16 sets in a 12-month period released. If you don't think that's stupid, it's because you're stupid. You know? Because it is monumentally, colossally fucking stupid that that's the case. And I'm not capable of keeping up with that level of volume. And it's not even just a money thing. It is a money thing, but let's say I get this job from Walmart, it won't be as much a money thing anymore, but I still can't be bothered because I was telling this to Anubis over the phone, I'm not invested in the game anymore. I cannot get excited over, oh, there's a new set coming out, because in 4 weeks there's going to be another new set coming out, or maybe even 2 new sets. So why am I supposed to care about all these new figures that they're just going to be obsolete in a month? Why do I bother? And the answer is there's no reason to bother. Why should I? You know? It's just completely asinine. Alright, take a shot. Oh god, I got him. Nice.
Start keeping score.
Aye, aye.
Roger.
Oops, didn't mean to overwatch him, but okay. So, the volume is another reason, and that's a very good reason. That's a reason a lot of people have quit Heroclix, because they just can't keep up with the shit, either financially, or like me, they can't get invested in the sets anymore, because there's too fucking many of them. You know, there's so many reasons to quit playing, and here's another one.
Heading there now.
We have a guy at the venue, and he's cool. He's one of the guys I really like to see there. I like hanging out with him. He's a lot of fun. Pretty cool guy. And he likes to come hang out with us, but he hates to play with us because we are just too fucking intense for him. I've said for a while now that our group is, you know, one of the best in the world, much less the state. We just have so many talented players. But you'll remember that I mentioned all of my friends quitting Heroclix. And it wasn't until, you know, this whole thing happened that I confronted that fact as well. The fact that there has been a paradigm shift in the group, and I'm on the wrong end of it. I'm a very competitive player, just by nature. It's just how I work. I mean, granted, my level of competition isn't like the super meta competition, but there is competitiveness there. I get very competitive. I try to win. I do all this shit. Well, the problem is, our player base isn't that kind of player base anymore. We have a lot of new players that are casual. They're really casual. And I truly think that my competitiveness is ruining the game for them. I've had several matches, and I've even covered a couple of them here, over the past year and a half, where they'll play me and they just completely half-ass it because there is nothing in them about the game. They're just not invested because they're going to get their ass kicked and they fucking know it. They go into the match knowing this is where he beats my ass. And the sad fact of the matter is they're usually right about that. You know, I'm going to win because they're just not on my level. And when you combine these three things, the fact that the friends that I used to play with are all gone, the fact that I am legitimately making the game not fun for other people, and the fact that the company keeps drowning us in fucking product that we never get to enjoy because there's always a new set out, that adds up to my reasons for leaving Clicks. And the judge's response? Well, go be a creeper at the library and play Pokemon with little kids then. I'm like, really, dude? Let me give a good example of what I mean by the change in volume. Now, I already mentioned that in 12 months, they've released 16 different sets. And calling them different sets isn't necessarily accurate, because some of the sets are just little gravity feeds, and some of them are starter boxes for the set, which basically amounts to 6 figures, you know. So that's not necessarily a set, but I'm counting it just to show you the sheer volume of product that's being put out. And it used to be that every set, without exception, had a Fast Forces, which is the little 6-figure set, and a Gravity Feed, which is a 10-figure set, sold in a box of 24 single boosters. You know, where you're going to get 2.5 full sets out of a case of that. You know. And how things used to work is I never had a lot of money. I, back in the day, still didn't have very much money. But what would happen is I would have 3 or 4 months between sets. So each month I would set aside, you know, like 20 to 30 bucks. When the new set came out, I would buy a brick. Or if it was a set I was really looking forward to, I would somehow save up and get a case. And I actually made less money back then, so I didn't have the kind of cash even that I have now to work with. But it was worth my while to put aside for it. And I was able to do it because I wasn't drowning in fucking product. Because WizKids, I use the Captain America set as an example, because this came up fairly recently. When I ran the Captain America set, there were 5 prizes. 5 figures were LEs. Of those 5... not of those 5. Basically what I did was... I had two sets of them, you know? And what I did... This basically meant that there were 6 of them total, and I took 2 of the Judge LEs each, which left 4 other ones. And, 4 of each other one left. And how I did this was, each week I would put 2 of them up for grabs, one for first place, one for Fellowship. And Fellowship was generally... We had a system that the judge actually took to a degree from me, and then did differently, which was, you got a point for every match you second place got 2 points, and winning a match got you a point per match. So if you went 2-0 or 2-1 and you were second place, you would have 4 points. Then people would vote on the people they had matches with. Like, if I had 1, 2, and 3 as my opponent, and I voted for 3, I would count them up, and each person got a point for each vote, and then you'd roll 2d6 and add your points to that, and whoever had the most points got the figure. You know, it was nice and fair. There was a randomness to it. There was an element of merit to it, meaning, like I said, second place had a much higher chance. And there was a popularity to it. If you played well, you would get a vote. But we had 12 weeks of games, and I had 10 weeks of prizes, so I had to scramble for those last 2 weeks. Before the new set came out, that was a 3-month period of time where I had all the time in the world to get a case of the new set, which was Superman. That's not a thing anymore. Heroclix just stopped being fun for me because they fucked with it. And as much as I hate the idea of it, it just stopped being fun for me. I just don't have it in me anymore. And that really makes me sad because I genuinely enjoyed Heroclix. I still do. If one of the guys wants to come over and play Clix with me, I'll fucking break out the figures instantly. I'm just like, sure, I'm game to play Clix. I'm all for that bullshit. You know? Why wouldn't I be?
Still call that life? We have to keep moving forward with the project, but the thought of treading the same path as the aliens is troubling. What if they were like us once? Are we just part of a continuing cycle? If this is a glimpse of our future, I want no part of it.
Alright, how much is the, Okay, that's not that bad. Let's build an access lift. Alright. But, yeah, I've officially retired from competitive Clix. I just don't... The joy is gone. It's more trouble to get to than it's worth. It doesn't cost me money, but I get guilted when I don't have the money that it wants to cost me. And, frankly, that's a special kind of bullshit to me, you know? I don't fly with that. It's just not cool.
Commander, we've got another contact. The signature is a little bigger this time, though.
So, yeah, the judge did not take that shit well at all. Not at fucking all. If it weren't for the fact that it's a privacy thing, I would read the texts. He sounds just like a fucking... someone you've been dating that you suddenly broke up with for whatever fucking reason.
We're going down!
Contact detected.
And it's really fucking stupid. Wow, that was bullshit. Only one shot left.
We've lost contact.
That's fine. Don't care. Okay, we got support, heavy, assault, sniper. Cool, I got a full set. We're gonna go back in here real quick, and we're gonna get some what's-it-fucks. Get some arc throwers. We're gonna get 3 of them. Yeah, 3 sounds good. Anywho, these are my arc throwers. There are many like it, but these are mine. No, seriously.
I still can't believe Dr. Vaughn expects our troops to try to bring one of those things back here in one piece.
I don't care, dude.
Less alive.
I don't care, dude. Fucking give me the gray market. I need to make some money.
The council have expressed an interest in acquiring some of the artifacts we recovered.
See, this is one thing I don't like about
Items we release.
XCOM 2
Have discovered their true
is when you sell shit, it's worthless. There, you get fucking nothing. Like, oh, here's this corpse. I'll pay you $1 for it. I'm like, really, dude? It's nothing has value in that game. This game, you get decent money for shit. But yeah, so to sum it up, I had a job interview that I think went fairly well. Did crap in Pokemon. Quit Heroclix.
It looks like the aliens went down in a sparsely populated area.
So yeah, I've had an interesting week, but I still consider it a good week because I'm just, for one thing, what happened was we were gonna have clicks yesterday, but the judge, as he does a lot, this is another thing where he would fuck up. He decided to pick up an extra shift rather than run a tournament. You know, he was gonna have a draft. But the figures didn't come in, so he decided to pick up an extra shift instead of fucking running a tournament anyway. What I would have done is say, hey guys, there is no draft this week, but how about we play, 500 points, constructed, Golden Age, theme team, that kind of shit. And if, let's say, my bike was broken to be the sum of him pulling extra shifts, this guy will run the tournament. He could have still held a tournament, had someone else run it, and still picked up his extra shifts, but he decided, no, it's all about me. If I can't go, there's no point in having it. And this is another point of contention we've had, where he's fucked the store out of money because he didn't show up when everyone else was game to play. And it was for drafts. It was to sell product, even. And then he wonders how suddenly no one has the money, because they're like, well, who knows when we're going to play again? I may as well spend this on other things I need, because that's what happened with me. And of course, because he doesn't understand what it's like to be on a limited budget where every single dollar matters, he gets pissy about it. I once told him that I was glad he took his vacation when he did, because he took a vacation one time that caused us to skip the last Heroclix game of the month. And I told him I was glad that happened because I only had enough money to get one more soda, and there were 2 weeks left. And he's like, well, dude, how much does a soda cost? I'm like, 85 cents. And he couldn't believe that I was so broke that I didn't have 85 cents for the last match of the tournament. Well, how much money do you have? And I basically told him, okay, I've got 37 cents on the food stamp card, I've got 12 cents in the bank, and I've got about 26 cents in change. And he was dumbstruck. He couldn't believe that I was that fucking broke. He's like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, yeah, turns out, when you're broke, you don't have money. Who knew? But because there was no figures this month, or this week, we obviously didn't hold a draft. And because we didn't hold the draft, and I won't be going to the draft because, I've quit Heroclix, I have saved about $35, which means I have it for Star Trek now. And I'm planning to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is get one of the 4 new kits that came out. There are 2 faction kits and a new starter set. And I really do need a new starter set. Because my damage deck is just kind of... It's seen better days. It's not, ruined or anything, but it's not crispy either. And I really want it. So yeah, this will probably be the last mission of this round. But the Star Trek tournament actually got moved from this weekend to next weekend, but we're still going to have a practice round where everyone comes in and just, does test runs and shit like that. Which is fine by me, because I could use it. And it gives me an excuse to get in there and buy those kits that I wanted. And things are going to get real interesting for me pretty soon if I manage to get that job, because... Oh wow, I just realized what an idiot I am. I went through all the trouble of getting those fucking arc throwers and didn't give one to anybody. I am a special kind of stupid person. But anyway, if I get the job and I get my paycheck and all that shit, like it's settled where I'm doing good, I'm in the I'm sitting good in my career path, as it were. If that comes to pass, then I am going to buy and build a very special fleet for next month. And that special fleet is going to be a Tholian fleet. Because I was just, you know, on the toilet pooping, looking at Space Dock, which is the app, the Fleet Builder app for Attack Wing. Because, you know, you're stuck on the toilet, what else you gonna do? You just fucking poop with dignity, or you could play on your phone. I chose to play on my phone. And I'm looking at shit I don't have. I'm like, oh, here's the Tholia 1 prize ship, and here's the Tholia 1 retail ship. Because there's a Gorn ship that is a prize ship, and a Gorn ship that is a retail. But they're different ships, you know. So, really, dude? And I'm sitting here wondering what the difference between Tholia 1 retail and Tholia 1 prize is, and it turns out there isn't one. They are identical, although the retail actually has one extra elite talent, so they're not completely identical, but for all intents and purposes, there is no reason to get the prize ship over the retail ship. But there is a reason to get the retail ship over the prize ship. So, make of that what you will.
Moving out. Enemy troops.
Oh, hi guys. Am I boned? Possibly.
X-ray on the move. They're flanking us.
Indeed, okay. You know what, you're going to be the hardest one for everyone else to get to, and I've got 100%, so you're just dead. Cool. So anyway, I'm looking at the Tholians, because I remember a friend of mine, the old Star Trek judge, way back in the day, was talking about the Tholians and how fucking cool they were. And I'm looking at them, and I'm doing, you know, a little bit of research on how the Tholian webs work, because the Tholian webs is what makes them fun. And I'll get into details on that in a minute. But the Tholian webs... Oh, actually, I'll go into the Tholian webs now. How it works is, if you have the Tholia 1 named ship as opposed to one of the generics. Or okay, let me start over. Tholian web. Oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell was that? Tholian web works like this. You have to use an action for it. It's a weapon. You have to use an action. And if your ship moves one straight, and only one straight, you can use your action to leave a Tholian web token. If you leave a Tholian web token, it just stays on the map forever until your last Tholian ship is destroyed. Sounds pretty cool. The Tholia 1 named ship has an additional power where it can do that as a free action. It doesn't take the ship's action to fucking plop a web. So you just kind of scoot around at range or at speed 1, pooping out webs. Pretty damn cool. It's just kind of a thing. And you're probably thinking, well, Kyrix, what's the Tholian web do? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's actually really fucking awesome. The Tholian web, well, like I said, it sits there. It's an obstacle. And how this obstacle functions is if you, hold on, can I? No, I can't. If a ship that is not a Tholian ship, that matters. That's actually very important for the purposes of this. But if a non-Tholian ship crosses paths with it, it treats it as an attack, and it rolls dice. One die per every 2 Tholian webs on the field, to a max of 10 dice. And they're just normal attack dice. Hits and crits are normal. I don't get to battle stations them because I'm not actually rolling them. I don't get to reroll them with target lock, they're just kind of there. The kicker is, the ship that hits them does not get to roll defense dice at all. So if it hits you, it fucking hits you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Affirmative.
So if you have a Tholian ship, which, by the way, they're not very strong, they just kind of, they're there. But if you have a Tholian ship, or a bunch of them, puttering around the map, laying webs down, and someone blunders into one, if there's enough of them, you will kill their ship. Because you're looking at fucking 10 dice that they can't dodge. And if you have enough Tholian ships, which is my plan, that have been spending every turn of the game webbing up the entire lower half of the map, they're going to blunder into a lot of them. Also, you get defense bonuses when they shoot through them, but they don't get them when you do, because you're Tholians. Now, ooh, that's really good, actually. Ah, yes, that's a good move. Ooh, Claymore, I like it. Yeah, he kind of needs that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of sit here for a minute and just kind of let things happen. I'm actually going to save now. And we're just going to sit here while I finish talking. So here's the thing with the Tholian ships. They're not very imposing. They're 2-2-2-2 and 2-2-2-1 for the generic. So there's going to be one decent-ish Tholian ship that can take 2 hits to the shield, has 2 hull, rolls 2 evasion dice, and fires 2 for the main weapon. Not that's spectacular. They are built entirely around the concept of the Tholian web itself. Anyway, they also have really shitty captain scores, which is actually not a detriment in this case. Because the lower your captain score means you move first and shoot last. Well, the Tholians, they don't shoot for crap. Matter of fact, let me look at something. I think they just have a 90-degree firing arc. I'm going to check. I've never actually, yeah, just a 90-degree forward arc and no rear arc. And their weapons are puny, so they're not going to do shit. Again, the whole point of this is the Tholian web. So it doesn't matter that I'm shooting last. You know? I'm going to be getting about 3 dice to dodge with, and hopefully I can take the shot. But here's the thing. They're also cheap ships. Like, they're 16 points for the named ship and 14 for the generic. So, the minor Tholian build, the generic build that I have, is a 20-point ship. And Tholia 1 is almost a 30-point ship. The fleet total is 130 points that you can build up to. My fleet adds up to 128 and has 6 Tholian ships in it. Now this is actually a pretty big fleet. It's much bigger than they really expect you. There's like slots for 4 ships, and I'm planning to run 6. It's not unheard of. People have done it before, just not like this. But the idea being that I have 6 little Tholian vessels puttering around, and every turn without fail they will lay web. Well, since they are laying web, each, and there are 6 of them, that means that every turn the webs are doing an extra 3 dice of damage. So if you cross one in the first turn, which is almost impossible, it can be done, it's just really stupid to do so, but if you did, that's a 3 dice attack. Next turn it's a 6 dice attack. By the 4th turn it is a 9 dice attack, and by the 4th turn and beyond, it's the full 10 dice. And I have them going in 6 different directions. I'm not going very fast, but it doesn't matter because I'm going everywhere with them. You know what I mean? So, as I'm laying webs down, the board is getting more treacherous to the point where I only need 1 ship to stay alive. Matter of fact, I might actually keep 1 ship off in the middle of nowhere specifically for that reason. And the cool thing is, apparently, after you lay a web, you immediately change your facing, so you're not just puttering along in a line and having to choose. It's like, okay, I went this way, now I'm going to go this way, then I'm going to go this, and I'm just going to crisscross all over the map until I have this briar patch that I'm perfectly safe in, and they're fucked if they chase me into. I don't know that I will win with this. I'm pretty sure that at best I have 50-50 odds of winning. But it'll be fun just to run something so goddamn stupid. Even if it is going to cost me, at the most, $90. It's going to be less than that because Thalia 1 is like a $12 ship and everything is free shipping on it. So I'm saving close to $3 a ship. It's actually like $12.50. And I can buy them in bulk. Like one of the eBay stores had 4 of them in stock. Well, then I just need 2 more. And again, if I get the job, this is something I will spend it on just to have some fun with. And like I said, it is to my benefit that my captain skills are so low, because then I can just go first and lay web, and there's nothing they can do about it. Anyway, we're going to call it here, and I will talk to you all next week, hopefully with news on my job. Bye, everybody.